This dime is special. And the reason this dime is special is because today I decided to quit my job. And when I went into the lunchroom, being the only person in there since the start of the day, there was a dime sitting right where I was sitting on that table. And I even get goosebumps talking about this because it wasn't there at the beginning of the day. Nobody put that dime there because I was the last person to leave that lunchroom. So the only possible and kind of crazy explanation to this is that it's a sign. It's a sign that I made the right decision, and I truly believe that I did make the right decision. It was about time that I made this decision, and I'm happy I made it when I did, and this is confirmation that everything is going to be all right. And I might sound a little crazy right now to some of you, or to all of you, but that's totally fine. I'm okay with being crazy. I'm okay with going against the norm because you got to be a little crazy in this world to decide to quit your job and start chasing after your dreams. You got to be a little crazy to believe that you can actually make it and achieve everything that you want to achieve. So, yes, I'm a little crazy and maybe a little obsessed to the point that I took that first step. But in my opinion, this is a sign. And I've had these signs before in the past with dimes and with synchronicities and stuff like that. And this is just another one of those signs, and I'm gonna carry this around with me wherever I go to just remind me of the choice and the decision that I made to take a leap of faith. And that's kind of what I want this episode to be about is that leap of faith, that uncertainty that you will face when you decide to chase after your dreams. And you see, because chasing after your dreams is so different than the normal life, the 9 to 5, it's going to feel scary because you don't know if it's going to work. The difference between this and going after a career is something that will work as long as you do what you're told to do, as long as you study, as long as you move forward with that and, you will climb the ladder. It is a type of linear graph that will eventually get you to your goals, but something like this life of entrepreneurship and chasing after your own internal passion. I'm not saying that the 9 to 5 might not it might be your passion, but in my case it isn't. And chasing after this is scary because it's full of ups and downs. I've already experienced so many of those ups and downs. I've experienced so much success and so much failure, and now I'm kind of at this point where I feel like I'm climbing up the hill. I feel like I'm climbing up that hill again, and the thing about this hill is that, no matter how low you get, if you continue to move forward, you're just gonna climb just as high, and that's what I'm doing right now. I'm starting that journey, and I've been starting that journey for the past 5 days now, and tomorrow, I'm gonna drive home. It's a 12-hour drive, believe it or not, so it's a whole day that it's basically planned to that, but I'm going to continue making these podcasts daily. I'm going to continue expressing myself because I love to express myself because it feels right. It feels right to just be yourself. And that is a tough thing to learn, especially in the world we live in today. It's so easy to get stuck on other people's opinions, and it's so easy to go down paths that aren't us just because they're safe, just because somebody else says this is what you need to do. But when do you actually listen to yourself? When do you give you the time to listen to yourself? Because one day you will realize, if you never listen to yourself, you will realize that you made the wrong choice. And it might not be today or tomorrow or next year or the next 5 years, but one day, maybe even nearing the end of your life when you're on your deathbed, there is going to be something you regret. And I don't want to be that person anymore. I don't want to be that person who regrets the decisions I make. I want to make decisions that align with who I am. And this is one of those decisions. This is me telling myself and telling the world and telling everybody that I know and everyone that I don't know that I'm putting myself first this time. I'm putting myself first again. And I'm going to do it again tomorrow and the next day and the next day and hopefully for the rest of my life. And I guarantee that if I do this at the end of my life, I will be thankful and grateful for the decisions I made today. And that's really all you can do is do what you can today. And I know I do preach this a lot, but this is important, this moment. This moment is very important. And if you have an internal feeling that there's something greater out there for you, and maybe even if you know what it is and you aren't taking steps towards that, reevaluate yourself. Reevaluate what you want out of life. Reevaluate your dreams and picture yourself in your dream life and what that looks like. And if it is different from what it is today, what your life is today, then you have work to do. And some of the decisions you might have to make are going to be scary. Some people might leave your life. Things might happen that completely change the course of your life. But you got to move forward and hopefully with a smile on your face because you're doing something that you love to do. And that's all it comes down to. I think everything just comes down to love. And if you can embody that, embody love in your own life and with yourself, then you will always be happy because even though you might and probably will face hard times, you could still do those things with a smile on your face, or at least with the internal knowing that things always work out because they have, and they always will if you put yourself first. And you will realize that on the journey of the self, of the journey of self improvement. It is not just a type of journey that, you know, takes you from point A to B. That's where I kind of got confused. It was like I was trying to get to point B and I was at point A. But then I did get to point B and I was like, "Oh, there's more." It's the journey of self-improvement. It's a never-ending journey. It's a journey that goes on your whole life. And a lot of people don't realize that. A lot of people they get to point B and they kind of get so attached to that achievement that they forget that it was never about the achievement. It was about the journey. Your life is a journey. So embrace your life. Embrace everything that you're doing today and try to enjoy that. And if you aren't enjoying that, change your life. Find out what you do enjoy. Figure that out for yourself because that is the way of authenticity. That is your authentic self. The Authenticity Project is all about expressing yourself. The Authenticity Project is all about figuring out who you are and embracing that wholeheartedly, despite what other people think, despite what you perceive other people are thinking. The Authenticity Project is all about being yourself at the end of the day, through and through. And that is the thing I am going to preach in this podcast is being yourself and following your own personal journey because that is what matters the most. It doesn't matter what other people think. It doesn't matter what you think other people think. That is fear. And if you are giving into that fear, you're going to go nowhere. You're going to get stuck. You're going to get lost. And maybe you'll come to this realization again in the future. But I hope not. I hope you realize this right here and now. If you're watching this podcast, I hope you realize right here and now, you can change your life. And you could create a life for yourself that you enjoy. No matter how old you are, no matter how young you are, you can start right now. You can start right now, and you can move towards something that you will never look back at. Because when you start going down that journey, even if, it's scary at first, because it will be. I'm a little scared right now, but when you go down that journey, when you go down that path, even in a month from now, you're going to look back and realize that that was the right decision. And I say even a month from now because you're going to be happy and content with the fact that you put yourself first. It is hard to put yourself first. If you are a people pleaser, if you're somebody who puts others people's needs ahead of your own most of the time, it's tough to find time for yourself. It's tough to find time to put yourself first or to make those decisions because you're not used to that. I wasn't used to that. I was in those situations, in those places with certain people in my life that were holding me back, but I still put them first. And in the end, it didn't even matter. No matter how much kindness I showed them, no matter how much kindness I showed everyone else but myself, it didn't matter because I wasn't going anywhere. They might have been going somewhere, but I was just following along and supporting them, but never really supporting myself because I didn't love myself. It all comes back to love. Everything comes back to love. So embrace that. Embrace love. Learn to love yourself if you don't know how, and learn to put yourself first because that is the greatest gift of love that you could give yourself.